Okay, so I want to talk to you about creating a skeleton for a lecture plan in OneNote. To do this, you're going to need Chrome, OneNote, and the Snipping Tool. So let's open OneNote. So what we're going to want to do is navigate to the class that we're going to make the lecture for. In this case, I'm going to make a lecture for physical science. And I'm going to go to my Physical Science Masters. This is where I create and keep lessons for that class. And I want to create a new tab up here. So here you can see I have all my section tabs. So I want to make a new lesson, so I'm going to click this new section tab here. And it's going to highlight up here. I'm going to be able to name it. So here I'm going to call this gas laws. That'll be the next thing that we're going to talk about. And for the first page, maybe I'm going to start the class with a warm-up. Okay. Now I need to actually get some of my resources. So I'm going to drag this window over to the side so I can work in two windows at the same time. If this bar over here is too big, you want some more room, you can resize it just like that, just clicking on it. Okay, so I want to start my warm-up here, and I've already got a graph ready to go. I can drag this over here. There's a couple of different ways to get the picture into OneNote, but I'm just going to kind of show you one generic way to do everything. So the warm-up that I want to have my kids do is based on this graph, so to get them to start thinking about Charles' law. So I'm going to highlight that and click up here in the corner, kind of the top left corner of where I want the picture to appear, and there it goes. If I want to drag it around, I can click on the picture once and then drag. Or if I need to resize it, I can click on the picture once, and I've got some tools here to resize. So I'm just going to give the kids a question to start out with. Okay, so maybe that's the question that I think is important for them to review based on the previous day. And this is maybe what I would project at the start of class while I'm taking attendance and passing back homework, get them to answer that. Ultimately, though, really what I would like to do is I have this worksheet that I want to use in class this day. But I don't want to give them this whole worksheet all at once because it's a little overwhelming, and I don't want to use up a lot of class time reading through this document. So what I might do is provide them with maybe the first page of this document to read the night before, and then during class we can discuss and sort of reinforce what they read the night before. Anyway, so now we're going to do Charles' Law, and just like before, I'm going to take this window and drag it all the way over to the edge so I can view both at the same time. I'm going to make a new page over here in OneNote, and I'm going to call it Charles' Law. And maybe I want to start out with a discussion of the law. So I could go to the Snipping Tool and press New, and either drag with my finger or the mouse. Maybe I want to highlight the formula so they can see the formula. But I also want to kind of help drive the discussion during the day of, conceptually, what is this law telling us? So maybe I want to show them a video, a memorable video of this concept in action. So I can go to Chrome, and I'm going to look for a video on YouTube. So I'm going to open a new tab here, type in YouTube in the browser, and let's see if we can get lucky. So we're just going to kind of search directly for the term. And I've been to these guys' channel before, so I like them. So I'm going to kind of look through here. This video is 3 minutes long though, and I don't want to, or 5 minutes long, so I don't want to take up that much time in class. So I might figure out here, this looks like what I'm looking for. I want to show them just this interaction.
Party balloon and less water. We also placed a lid on the top to contain the hot air inside the beaker. In this version of our experiment, we see a more dramatic change in the balloon.
There we go. So I want to show them that happening. So I'm going to scrub to where in the timeline here where it was happening, and I'm going to click share and start at. That's going to give me a link to start right there, and I'm going to press Control Copy to copy the link. And I'm going to click here and Control V to paste. And it's going to give me that video, and now when I click play,
it's a lid on the top.
It's going to start
hot air inside the beaker.
Right where I want it.
In this version of our experiment, we see a more dramatic change in the balloon's size.
And I don't want to use, part of their video where they're trying to get the experiment to work right, and maybe I only want the kids to see it in action, and then I can explain it myself. Another cool thing is later in this video, it looks like they have a nice diagram of why this is happening, an explanation, and this might be memorable.
Steam molecules transfer to the lower temperature air molecules inside our balloon, exciting them. When the air molecules in our balloon are excited by raising their temperature, they spread further.
Yeah, so that looks pretty good. So I'm going to start right at the beginning of their explanation there, click share again, share at, and now I've got another link at the second part of the video that I want to show, and I can again Control Copy to copy this link, click in here, Control Paste, and now I've got the second video, but now this one starts in the explanation section. So now I don't have to spend a lot of class time getting to the parts of the video that I want, or even just looking up the video, that kind of thing. Okay, so I've got that. Now I do remember there's something in the reading here that was really important for them, and I want to add that to the notes as well. It's the temperatures must be expressed in degrees Kelvin. So maybe I want to add a little note. I can add this over to the side by clicking over here, or I can add it down at the bottom, whatever it is. So I want to add a note in red here, I think, so it really stands out. Say temperatures. I can just drag that over here so that it's where I want it. Basically, anytime you click anywhere on the page, you can just start typing. And then if you want to move it somewhere else later, you just click the top here, you can drag it around. Or I can just press delete and delete it. I can also, maybe leave some of this blank. Maybe there's things that I know I want to talk about, but I'll remember them during the lecture, and then during the lecture I can, use my pen to write in some notes, or maybe we have a discussion after the video is done playing, and I write down the important points from the discussion of the video down underneath during class. So right now I'm really not building complete notes, just kind of a skeleton and collecting all the resources that I need to have an effective lecture. Okay, so let's say we've covered that well. So now the next page is I want to give them an example. So I'm going to click Add Page again, and maybe call this Example 1. And you'll see in this worksheet, they go on to the examples, but if I give this to the students, all the example and all the work, it's all there, and it's all laid out. It's confusing. I don't think they're going to get a whole lot out of that. So I'm going to press the Snipping tool again and press New, and I'm going to copy the part of the example that I think is important. So here, without the solution. But actually, there's some stuff in here. I want to give them the structure of like givens and unknowns, but I don't want to fill it in for them. So actually what I can do is I can now make a custom pen that's white, and I can use my pen to start erasing the givens. That way we'll have to do that together in class. So I'm going to erase these givens here, because it's an important part of the understanding process. So get rid of that, get rid of this, and then maybe have them, even though here there's only one equation to pick from, maybe have them pick the correct equation as well. So once I'm done editing that image, same as before, I just click in OneNote in the top left corner where I want the picture to be, and press Control V to paste, and there I go. I can click on the image and make it a little bit bigger if I need to. And so now during class, when we get to the example, I'm going to be able to use my pen and write in my givens and work through the example with them instead of just showing them the whole thing all at once and reading it. We can actually work through it together in class. Once we've worked through an example in class together, maybe I want to test and make sure that everyone's getting it. So I might give them a problem to work on. And so I'm going to go back to the worksheet, and I can take this first exercise. Again, I'm going to press the Snipping tool, press New, and select this exercise here. I'm going to click in OneNote, Control V to paste, and now I've got the exercise ready to go. During class, when I'm ready, let's say I've completed this whole lesson, I've got more to do, but to save time, let's say we're all done. Then when I'm ready to go, I'm ready to copy this into my class. So I'm going to right click this section, click Move or Copy, and I need to, instead of in Masters, I want to copy it into the classes notebook. Press Copy. And now imagine this is the start of the class period. I'm going to be in this folder, and there's my gas laws section that we were just working on. The beginning of class, they do the warm up, I'm taking attendance, and then when we're ready to go, I write down the answer or notes from our discussion. Then we do this, and I write some notes in class about our discussion. And then we do our example. We go through the example together in class. Maybe add some notes based on our discussion. We can, obviously we can change colors and line thicknesses. And then we give the problem for them to work on independently. I walk around the class to see how everyone's doing and maybe have one of the students show their solution on the whiteboard. That's kind of an overview of the structure that we can follow for a lecture-based period in OneNote.